Right, let us so Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shrunivadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyaścha kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna devotees, so we are continuing on in our um, uh, pleasurable discussions about Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So we went through the whole philosophical understanding in the previous weeks about his Srila Prabhupada being a Nityasiddha, establishing that he is a Shaktivesh avatar, establishing for 1 year we went through establishing him as a bona fide spiritual master, Diksha Guru through mainly Chaitanya Charitamrita. And now we are graduating to understanding Srila Prabhupada's birth and activities from those angles of vision, from the scriptures which Srila Prabhupada himself has commented upon. And so we are looking through that eyes, through that angle of vision and trying to understand him. We are reading about him from him, about him, and then we are sometimes not taking his words as on face value because we understand Srila Prabhupada says a pure devotee does not, he considers himself to be an ordinary person and in humble, so he does not, he does not act or say that he is pure devotee in so many words and like that. And but his and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did the same thing. Whenever someone would say that he is Krishna himself, he would cover his ears and he says Vishnu Vishnu. So similarly, in that same mode, the acharyas in our parampara act like an ordinary people, and but their characteristics are mentioned in the scriptures, and then they are seen like that. We should not consider them an ordinary person. So let's dive into it. We are reading from the Lilamrita as it is. Mukunda Prabhu, he compiled them, who did a great service for all of us. He compiled all Srila Prabhupada's instructions in a very readable, very well flowing in Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, Anta Leela, like that he did. And so we are at Adi Leela, and we are now going through his childhood pastimes. We previous weeks we did his babyhood, like it was described how he, even when he was 6 months old, he remembered what he was doing. I mean, nobody ordinary can remember like that. Then childhood, about his father, and then we are at this. To my father, God Mohan De, 1849 to 1930, a pure devotee of Krishna, who raised me as a Krishna conscious child from the beginning of my life. Prabhupada, my father used to carry Salagram Shila if he was going out in the Gopal Krishna in the neck. Prabhupada, his Guru Maharaj advised him, Gopal Krishna, it's auspicious. Prabhupada, no, it is the safest place. In a linen handkerchief bound up, yes. So it is safe always, Kantha. My father used to carry. Whenever he would stay, Ganga Jal, Tulsi, decoration, say half an hour business. My father was a great devotee. Yes, Gopal Krishna, you dedicated the Krishna book to him. Prabhupada, yes, because he was a pure Vaishnava. And he wanted me to become like this. He was praying Radharani. He was praying to Radharani, and any saintly person would come, he would simply say, give blessings to my son that he may become a Radharani's servant. That was my father's prayer. He never prayed that my son may become very rich man. He never prayed like that. Actually, his ardent desire that his son may become a Vaishnav. And my Guru Maharaj's training has put me this position. That I have admitted later on. What is that word I have given? Find out. Gargamuni, the eternal father, Gopal Krishna, which was later on solidified by the Gopal Krishna, by my eternal father. The ideas given by my father was solidified by, that's what you said. Read it. So this is from Krishna book. Gargamuni, to my father, in the first page, dedication page, to my father Gaur Mohan De, 1849 to 1930, a pure devotee of Krishna who raised me as a Krishna conscious child from the beginning of my life. In my boyhood ages, he instructed me how to play the mridanga. He gave me Radha Krishna Vigraha to worship, and he gave me Jagannath Rath to duly observe the festival as my childhood play. He was kind to me, and I imbibed from him the ideas later on solidified by my spiritual master, the Eternal Father. Gopal Krishna, very beautifully written. Gargamuni, yes, very poetic. Prabhupada, that is a fact. I got good father and good spiritual master. That's all. Gargamuni, we have gotten bad father, but now we have spiritual father. Prabhupada, no bad father. Unless good father, son cannot be good. Yatha yoni, yatha bijam. Hari, sorry, they must be just fallen. Gargamuni, they have not accepted your mercy. They will all benefit by the son's devotional service. It does not matter how fallen they are. They know, you know. Oh, my father never chastised me. Hari, sorry, I think you said your mother was always very strict. Because he was very lenient, so mother had to be a little strict for my education. This is from a room conversation in August 21st, 1976 in Hyderabad. So here we can see directly Srila Prabhupada first of all saying his father was a pure devotee of Krishna. He raised him to be a pure devotee, raised him from childhood. So we can see he was a Nitya Siddha. This was one of the characteristics of a Nitya Siddha, that from childhood they are no, they are into Krishna consciousness activities. And of course, then this when he says later on solidified by my spiritual master, it seems like he he developed into Krishna conscious activities and preaching activities, these thought processes, because of the spiritual master, not before. But we also understand, so how do we understand that? Like, he was not a pure devotee, he was great devotee from his childhood. A great, like many devotees go through this, even our devotee children are going through these things. So then what is the difference between devotee children and Srila Prabhupada? The difference is what he did. Suddenly in 10 years, he, at the age of 70, suddenly he could spread the holy name around the world, write Bhagavatam, like suddenly. That's not possible, no, for normal children, even though they have grown up like devotee children. And that is from 7th canto, 10th chapter, 3rd verse. Uh, this we went through this last week, but I think we should read it again. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Has given considerable discussion about Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha devotees. Nitya Siddha come from the Vaikuntha to this material world to teach by their personal example how to become a devotee. So this is the point. This Srila Prabhupada in this whole purport keeps to saying that about how to become a devotee. They want to show how to become a devotee. The living and in the material world can take lessons from such Nitya Siddha devotees and thus become inclined to return home back to Godhead. A Nityasiddha devotee comes from Vaikuntha upon the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and shows by his example how to become a pure devotee. In spite of coming to this material world, the Nityasiddha devotee is never attracted by the allurements of material enjoyment. A perfect example is Prahlad Maharaj, who was a Nityasiddha Mahabhagavat devotee. Although Prahlad was born in the family of Hiranyakashipu, an atheist, he was never attached to any kind of materialistic enjoyment. Desiring to exhibit the symptoms of a pure devotee, the Lord tried to induce Prahlad Maharaj to take material benedictions, but Prahlad Maharaj did not accept them. On the contrary, by his personal example, he showed the symptoms of a pure devotee. In other words, the Lord himself has no desire to send his pure devotee to this material world. nor does a devotee have any material purpose in coming. When the Lord Himself appears as an incarnation within this material world, He is not allured by the material atmosphere and He has nothing to do with material attractivity. Yet, by example, He teaches the common man how to become a devotee. Similarly, a devotee who comes here in accordance with the order of the Supreme Lord shows by his personal example how to become a pure devotee. A pure devotee, therefore, is a practical example for all living entities, including Lord Brahma. This is from 7.10.3. So, this how to become a pure devotee is what Srila Prabhupada is basically solidifying in our minds that his father, of course, father was a great devotee, pure devotee, and he raised him to be a great devotee of Krishna from childhood. And then he's saying spiritual master then solidified it, and seemingly like he became like a preacher to preach around the world. But this was all to show us how to become a pure devotee, how to take the instructions of the spiritual master. His first instructions from the spiritual master was in 1922. He started writing books. I mean, he started after 20 years or so in 1940s or so. I think he started writing the Back to Godhead magazine in India, not around the world or anything like that, on a very small scale. 20 years it took him to really imbibe his teachings, so as he he's from childhood, he is a pure devotee. He has already imbibed everything. He came with imbued with spiritual consciousness and preaching consciousness. But to show us how to become a pure devotee by following the instructions of a pure devotee spiritual master, how much determination we should have, how much patience, enthusiasm, continuing on and on against all the obstacles, and totally fixed vyavasayatmika buddhi. So, because this is the and having complete faith in his instructions, completely understanding he is Sakshadhari. This is the basis of how one can become a pure devotee by becoming a very humble, loyal servant of the spiritual master. So this is a great teaching for us, you know, how to become a pure devotee. Discussions, Prabhus. Hare Krishna, Krishna Kishore Prabhu. Anything to discuss or anything to bring up from this? Any of the devotees? Okay, great. Very nice to hear, Prabhu, that you're on the street. Okay, let's carry on. Who will read this? Leo Prabhu, are you in a position you could read this?
Yeah, right now I could read Prabhupada.
Okay, great.
Prabhupada, this Radha Govinda deity is very old, of the Mulik family. I think not less than 200 years ago, this deity was established by the mother of Kashina, Kashinath Mulik. I think you might have heard another Kashi, original Kashinath Mulik. I think his father name was Gaura Mohan Mulik. Am I right? India man, Chitra Das? Prabhupada, Chitra Das. No, no, no. Kashina Mulik father. So gradually, this whole quarter belongs to this Malik family. Still in front of this temple, there are Gangara building. That is also the property of Radha Govinda. And as I have shown in coming, our house was just behind the present Radha Bhavana. And we had the opportunity of seeing this Radha Govinda from very childhood. When I was 3 or 4 years old, I used to visit this Radha Govinda daily. Pusta Krishna. Jaya Radha Govinda, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada. And that is the inspiration of my devotional life. Then I asked my father that, give me Radha Govinda deity, I shall worship. So my father was also Vaishnava. He gave me small Radha Govinda deity I was worshiping my house. Whatever I was eating, I was offering, and I was following the ceremonies of this Radha Govinda with my small deity. That deity is still existing. I have given to my sister. So then I, so then I introduced Ratiyatra. My Ratiyatra was being performed very gloriously. My father used to spend money. In those days, 10 rupees, 10 rupees was sufficient. I hired one kirtana party and small friends. They, I think, the brother of the present generation, and there was another, their family here. So we performed this Ratiyatra ceremony. According to our children's imagination, it was very gorgeous. So I think our present Manmohan, his name is Kabur Bhavan, Gopishvara Muli. That Gopishvara Muli was my father's friend. So he was criticizing my father that you are performing Ratiyatra ceremony, you're not inviting us? So my father said, that is children's play. What shall I invite you? You are a very big man. Oh, so you are avoiding. In the name of the children, you are avoiding us. On the whole, this Ratiyatra festival was very gorgeously. Then imitating me and others, and other, and then imitating me, the other, my brother, like Kangalu, he also introduced Ratiyatra. In Kangalu, so all of them introduced Ratiyatra and the destination was this Thakur body from there. So practically, what I am doing now, the same thing, Radha Krishna worship and introduction to Ratiyatra. I am not doing anything else. You know very well. We are now performing Ratiyatra ceremony practically in all big cities of the world, in San Francisco, in Harisari, Philadelphia, Prabhupada, Philadelphia, London, Harisari, Melbourne, Prabhupada, Melbourne, Australia, Pusa Krishna, Paris, Prabhupada, Paris. So the same thing, the same Radha Krishna worship temples and same Rathayatra in a bigger scale, but the same thing was begun as play from this quarter, this Takwabadi. Indian man, year 1917. Prabhupada, no. I began I think from 1904 or 5, from my very childhood. Indian man, oh, childhood. Prabhupada, yes, at the time perhaps you were not born. What is your age now? What is the birth of date? Indian man, 55. Prabhupada, 55. That means in 1920 you were born. Indian man, yes. Prabhupada. So anyway, this Takubari, Radha Govindaji, is my life. That is the beginning of this spiritual life. And after so many years, still Radha Govindaji has dragged me. So it is his kindness. So the beginning was the same thing: worship of Radha Krishna deity, and introduction of Rathayatra. That is, I am doing it a bigger scale and a wider scale all over the world. So it is nothing new. So in the news, so in the one sense, as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Prasto Vijayate. So although I was not belonging to this family, or perhaps originally we belonged to this family, because they are also they, we are they. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm sorry. But practically, I was born in this family in Suchinam Srimatam, and my father was a pure Vaishnava. So these opportunities we got now it is developed in a wider scale. It is all Krishna's arrangement, maybe from my previous life, but you are cooperating, you American and European. So we are spreading the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This mission, Radha Krishna mission, it is practically Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is combination of Radha Krishna Pranaya, Vic, Victre, Vic, Victor, Victre, Halladini, Sadir, Asma. Krishna and Radharani, the same absolute truth. Radharani is the pleasure of potency of Krishna. And when Krishna wants to enjoy, he expands his pleasure potency in the form of Radharani. And when he wants to spread the loving affairs of Radha Krishna, he takes the form of Sri Krishna, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and very kindly he gives the love of Krishna. Therefore, Rupa Goswami has offered him obeisances, Namo Maha Vandaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate. To understand Krishna, it takes long time. It takes long duration of life. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Yanavam Mam, pra, mam Prabhadayate. And to understand the love of Krishna and Radharani, it is not so easy thing. But by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are understanding. Krishna Prema Pradayate. So it is now spreading all over the world. So this is about the movement. It may be this Radha Krishna, Radha Govinda deity is the what is called Pusta Krishna inspiration. Prabhupada inspiration. So you are all fortunate you have come here. So let us offer our obeisances. Glory Jaya Prabhupada. Hari Sari. Those deities are very nicely looked after, Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, eh? Hari, Hari Sari. The deities, Prabhupada. Oh, Hari Sari. They are very nicely cared for. Prabhupada, oh yes, this is my inspiration, this deity. Abhiram, should we have some program with these muliks sometime? Visit? Prabhupada, no, no. Our house was here. I'm coming almost daily on every moment. I was playing here. They were all my playmates. The whole this from the street to this street. That was our house, home. Here is the pharmacy, that Kailash pharmacy. That was very old. Our limit was coming up to this road and up to that road. Abhiram, your father will not let you go any farther than this? Prabhupada, in those days, who cared for the father? We were coming in, and it was not so congested. There was a riot, Muslim Hindu riot. This quarter is Muslim quarter. Oh, in 1911, that was dangerous day. Perhaps I would have been killed. Riot, very big riot. This was my school here. This building, this was my school. And college was Scottish churches. In this ground, we used to play football. Yes. Pushta Krishna, Hare Krishna. You used to take Jagannath right through the streets? Prabhupada, yes. Pushta Krishna. How far would you carry Jagannath? Prabhupada, from our house to this Thakur Bari Radha Govinda's house, coming and going with procession of chawla and kola, kartal, and everything. Prasadam, distribution, everything was there. My father used to encourage. And in those days, if my father would spend 25 rupees, it was a great festival. Why not? In those days, 50, 60 years ago, the money value was at least 20 times. So if my father was spending at the time 20 rupees, now it is at least 400 rupees. So for a children's play, 400 rupees is not a small amount. Abhiram, at least $50 in American? Prabhupada, yes. So my father used to pay. Krishna Krishna, you hired a Sankirtan party? Prabhupada, yes, only 2 rupees, that's all. Krishna Krishna, our young children are very fortunate also. Prabhupada, Krishna Krishna, our young children. Prabhupada, oh yes, yes, very fortunate. That's that a small child, he'll take a little grain of prasadam. He will not touch the big halava. As soon as I'll give him a little grain, he'll take. Very nice. Abhiram, travel on a coach like this, Srila Prabhupada? Prabhupada, yes, in our childhood, not so bad. At the time, it was not so. At the time, in our yes, in our childhood, not so bad. At the time, it was not so bad. In 1925, I purchased one Buick car. In our childhood, there was no electricity, and there was no motor car. No, the tram car was drawn by horses in Calcutta, quarter where our temple is situated. This is the best. Srila Prabhupada Talk, Radha Govinda Mandir, March 24, 1976, Calcutta.
Hmm. Very nice to hear. Did you want to comment on this, Prabhu?
Well, the part that he stated was Prabhupada was coming to the point that this is all his activities were due because of his past life. But he stated that.
Yeah.
Uh,
This one. Shuchinam Shematam Ge.
and also, I guess when it comes down to I guess Srila Prabhupada's position, let me just say that all this all the activities uh, he was stating was just like basically on a wider scale, and then I guess how Krishna arranged.
Mhm.
So it's very fortunate, not you know, one to have parents and also to have those activities. So that's you can see where the empowerment comes from.
Mhm. So in this, from this, of course, we understand it is not from his past life, but a pure devotee is saying like that to teach us how to become devotee, meaning our children. Our children, they are going through these. We are taking them through all these activities, prasadam, this, that, worshipping deity. It means they were very fortunate to be born in this family because from last life they are continuing on, and our duty to finish this life, their business of perfecting their endeavors. So we can't take Srila Prabhupada as come from previous life, you know.
But wouldn't be like in him being a Manjari and Goloka Vrindavan. I mean, he didn't explicitly say that, but I guess based upon the activities and his position, spiritual position. Um, I don't know if his disciples came to that realization, but couldn't that be also kind of past life also meaning that in Goloka Vrindavan?
So first thing is that he never said he's a Manjari, so we can't like assume it. He could be Manjari, he could be one of the parents, he could be one of the boy, uh, you know, friends, coward friends, anybody, cow, we don't know. Uh, so then the second part that when he's saying about past, like previous life, it is not so much talking about the previous life in Goloka. Is talking about previous life in this world, because this verse, no, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe, this is what it is talking about. We can go to that verse. So I can pull that up. Arjuna asks, what is the destination of the man of faith who does not persevere, who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization, but who later desists? So this is applicable to the children. So it's interesting to hear, to understand. Takes to process of self-realization, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism. Aprapya, without failing to achieve the result, failing. Highest mistake thing. Then ayatiha, unsuccessful transcendentalist. O mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man, being deviated from the path of transcendence, perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Riven is just hanging around one single cloud. It's the example is like when you see on the sky, there are clouds all together going one place, and they are kind of powerful and they stick together, and then they pour rain, and it causes so much of, good or bad, whatever. If it is too much rain, it's bad also. So, but sometimes you see some clouds like branch out from the main body of the clouds, and then they can't do much. They're just hanging around, and then they disperse because nothing much, no much precipitation there, no much force there. So a cloud in the sky sometimes deviates from a small cloud and joins a big one. But if it cannot join a big one, then it is blown away by the wind and becomes a non-entity in the vast sky. So is that's what Arjuna is saying. This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for yourself, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. The Blessed Lord said, Son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. The successful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashta Abhijayate. So in this purport, Srila Prabhupada, this is what he was quoting, Srila Prabhupada. The unsuccessful yogis are divided into two classes. One is fallen after very little progress, and one is fallen after long practice of yoga. The yogi who falls after a short period of practice goes to the higher planets where pious living entities are allowed to enter. After prolonged life there, he is sent back again to this planet to take birth in the family of a righteous Brahman Vaishnav or of aristocratic merchants. So it's something like this, you know. After after a short practice, after little progress, one is sent into a very favorable atmosphere to continue. The one who is following after long practice of yoga is talking about in the next verse. The real purpose of yoga practice is to achieve the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, but those who do not persevere to such an extent and fail due to material allurements are allowed by the grace of the Lord to make full utilization of their material propensities. And after that, they are given opportunities to live prosperous lives in righteous or aristocratic families. Those who are born in such families may take advantage of the facilities and try to elevate themselves to full Krishna conscious. So basically, they are demigods, more or less, the devotees' children. They're coming from the higher planets. No, after that, they are taking birth in righteous Brahman, Vaishnav families or in aristocratic merchant families. And then the second verse, this verse 42, is for the class one who has fallen after long practice of yoga. They are not demigods. Or he takes birth. So athava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam etadhi durlabhataram loke janma yad idrisham. Or he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Verily, such a birth is rare in this world. Purport: birth in a family of yogis or transcendentalists, those with great wisdom, is praised herein because the child born in such a family receives spiritual impetus from the very beginning of his life. It is especially the case in the Acharya or Goswami families. Such families are very learned and devoted by tradition and training, and thus they become spiritual masters. So this is what Srila Prabhupada, kind of is, but we can see he's not even that. He's higher than that, coming from spiritual world, not even a yogi, higher yogi. In India, there are many such Acharya families, but they have now degenerated due to insufficient education and training. By the grace of the Lord, there are still families that foster transcendentalists generation after generation. It is certainly very fortunate to take birth in such families. Fortunately, both our spiritual master, Om Vishnuvad Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and our humble self had the opportunity to take birth in such families by the grace of the Lord. And both of us were trained in the devotional service of the Lord from the very beginning of our lives. Later on, we met by the order of the transcendental system. So, even here, so this is talking about a transcendentalist who was already, after long practice of yoga, is already almost there. Something like Bharat Maharaj, no, he's almost there. He's not fit, but he didn't finish it for some reason. So those, after long practice of yoga, are born in the family of transcendentalist, and then they basically become Nitya Siddha, get their sadhana Siddha in a sense in this family once they take birth, and they just ready to finish their perfection. They are made into like a finished product in the family, and they become spiritual masters. And then he is commenting that his spiritual master and he himself were born in such a family, as if they were both finishing up their yoga practice or bhakti yoga practice from last life. So even that is a humble nature, because other places we understand that they were not unsuccessful long-term yogis just finishing up, but they were coming from the spiritual world. So even both these two verses don't even apply to Srila Prabhupada. This is a humble position he is taking here. On taking such a birth, he again revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. King Bharat, who took his third birth in the family of a good Brahman, is an example of good birth for the revival of previous transcendental consciousness. King Bharat was the emperor of the world, and since his time, this planet is known among the demigods as Bharatavarsha. Formerly, it was known as Ilavartavarsha. The emperor at early age retired for spiritual perfection but failed to achieve success. In his next life, he took birth in the family of a good Brahman and was known as Jada Bharat because he always remained secluded and did not talk to anyone. And later on, he was discovered as the greatest transcendentalist by King Rahuguna. From his life, it is understood that transcendental endeavors or the practice of yoga never go in vain. By the grace of the Lord, the transcendentalist gets repeated opportunities for complete perfection in Krishna consciousness. So, this is a typical example of long, like he was at asakti level or no bhava level, and then he fell down. Very, very rare. And those are the kind of, this in the second category. Not mostly our children, could be the children could be, but mostly Srila Prabhupada is explaining about that they were demigods because they were practicing devotional service or yoga practices, and they became demigods. Then they were born in the devotee families, and then by virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist striving for yoga stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. But advanced yogis are not very much attracted to the rituals of the scriptures, but they automatically become attracted to the yoga principles, which can elevate them to complete Krishna consciousness, the highest yoga perfection. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, It's all the famous example. But when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed away of all contaminations, then ultimately, after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. A person born in a particular righteous, aristocratic, or sacred family becomes conscious of his favorable condition for executive yoga practice. With determination, therefore, he begins his unfinished task, and thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contamination. When he is finally free from all contaminations, he attains the supreme perfection, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the perfect stage of being freed from all contaminations. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Ye Sham Papam. A yogi is greater than an ascetic. Okay. So this is the thing. Here he is again in the purport saying these two families, Shrutinam Shimatam Gehe family of demigods, second birth, next birth, or the sacred families of transcendentalists who are fostering spiritual masters. People born in those, the souls born in them, they again become automatically conscious of their favorable condition, and they, with determination, they execute these tasks. So both category of yogis. So Srila Prabhupada is definitely not in that in any of these categories of this material world, but he is coming from the spiritual world, like we see in the example of Prahlad Maharaj. In the purport, he is talking about chapter 10th, 7th canto, 10th chapter, 3rd verse, that he came here sent by Krishna's arrangement to show by example how to become a pure devotee of the Lord. And in this example, he is basically talking about he's pointing to the devotee parents that their children are like this if they are doing activities. So you should understand they were doing um, they were doing devotional service before, then they became demigods, and then they came down, and now they should become all facilities like his father gave. And basically is inspiring the parents to show, oh, you also do see they can become like me, kind of. They were, I was like that, I was Shrutinam Shrimantam Ge in that category. He's putting himself in that category, show by example to the parents how to deal with their children. This is what I get out from this, Prabhu. Sorry, it was a long-winded thing, but I thought it's important what he's trying to what he's trying to indicate with this examples that he's giving, why he's taking them on a biographical tour. He's not like an ordinary person. Old people, no, they reminiscence. Oh, I did this in childhood. Oh, I went there in childhood, talking about themselves. It's like, seems like that. If we take away the background, what we know of Srila Prabhupada. But he's not like that. Every word, every activity is to show an example how to become a pure devotee. I've been here in this place. I was fortunate to go to this Thakur Bari. I saw his home. It was very short walk. It's like a downtown area with big buildings, 3 or 4 story high buildings, and then there is a courtyard in the middle of two buildings, and you go inside the courtyard, and then there is a small temple there. Radha Govindiji is still there, being small deities being worshipped in the metal forms. And the deity of Radha Damodar, which Srila Prabhupada was talking about, yeah. So Srila Prabhupada says here, he gave him Radha Govinda deities to work. No, they were Radha Damodar deities. Another place he talks about with my small ceremony. I don't know how, but somehow they were. So the Radha Govinda deities were from his community temple, every in the Malik family temple. They used to maintain it, and he would go there every day in the courtyard. But in his home, he had rather Damodar deities, and those very small deities, those are at the ISKCON Calcutta temple. Adhidan Prabhu showed me. Those are the deities, the small deities below the big deities being worshipped there. And Srila Prabhupada says, I gave it to my sister Pishima, and she gave it to the temple before passing away, who was also a pure devotee. Anything else to bring out from this, or any other queries or any thoughts to share, parents or other devotees? This is a nice discussion to have, children, about children. No one else has anything to add from their angles of vision.
In regards to children or in regards to Srila Prabhupada?
Yeah, about children, like this is what he's trying to do with all his pastime here, to inspire the parents to how to make the children devotees.
Yeah, yeah, I see that. I see the framework he's doing, the purpose or the intention of Srila Prabhupada in the conversation. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. For whatever reason, I came to that conclusion that Srila Prabhupada was a majority in the spiritual world. Um, so in regards to the children, also as well, I don't know if I recall, um, when it comes down to certain qualities, like Srila Prabhupada's father, like when he had to chastise Srila Prabhupada, um, usually uh, Srila Prabhupada's father knew about, I guess knew about Srila Prabhupada's past life in regards to like astrology. Um, so like the chastisement dealing with you could say elevated souls that come into into the household and they take birth as children. I just have that scenario in my head. Really, like for example, with my children, um, is something I came across. I don't know if it's relevant. I'm sorry.
It's nice. Very good. Your children are all or demigods. They're coming from a material high planet. Like really, can you believe a few years back they were in moon or sun or some of the other heavenly planet. It's so strange, huh? And they'll not remember anything.
Yeah, I mean the symptoms would show, I guess, right, of the
Yeah.
propensities. But so with Srila Prabhupada's father, I guess how he engaged with Srila Prabhupada was that he knew that he was an exalted soul, um, and
Srila
maybe
Prabhupada says,
intuitive. I'm sorry.
yeah, Srila Prabhupada says so. He says, yes, I think he knew. That's all he says.
Okay, okay. No, yeah, because I wasn't too sure if this was part of a conversation. Uh, that's why I'm
Well,
just recollecting.
pure devotee,
I can't.
yeah, if he's pure devotee, he would know. But because we devotees are not pure devotees, we cannot know. But a pure devotee, Krishna is directly guiding, no? That Shiva Baba exactly says because he knew that's why he didn't chastise me. That Shiva Baba was like a greatest acharya, kind of going to all around the world, taking the holy name. So a pure devotee must be thinking, oh my God, Krishna is so merciful of sending me this exalted devotee. So, but he's also doing the service to Krishna by like externally taking care like that, just like an ordinary man, doing all the activities. But he because he knew he he was very respectful in a sense to Srila Prabhupada, being a pure devotee still.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Sadyamna
Uh,
Prabhu.
yeah, Prabhu. So just like I want to ask that, na, just like we are taking evidence all for Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and in that also Shastra is the base. But in Bhagavatam it is just like said, na, Shrutyo Vivinna, Shrutyo Vivinna. So there are many statements in Shastra. So how to we will just like na we are taking Srila Prabhupada books na in from them we are taking evidence. But somebody outsider will say just like na if we say that Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee and all these things. So we are taking evidence from Shastra. So my point I want to ask is just like Shrutyo Vivinna, and we are taking all the scriptures as base. So how to see this thing?
Well, those two external characteristics that we see, no, that sh- first we see Srila Prabhupada was the only one who could take the holy name around the world. It's not done before, ever. Even Prophet Muhammad, even, like, they have not done like that. Lord Christ, Jesus Christ, Krishna, Chaitanya, Rama, these names have not been taken around. Muhammad is the closer to Srila Prabhupada. Prophet Muhammad is closer to Srila Prabhupada, but not like this. Sankirtan activities, all the places on the planet. It's not done before.
And to Sankirtan and the holy name. It is just like in our scriptures it is mentioned, Vedas that na that Sankirtan Kalu Sankirtan prior. It is the and Kalyuga Naam Sankirtan is the main thing. So in like in Bible, Quran, and all the other authentic scriptures, the chanting is the main thing given. Just like na, if we say that Srila Prabhupada has taken chant that go holy name outside.
And again, um, I was just a few days back. I was writing down all these things where in the Bible or in the Quran, all the different Sankirtan activities are mentioned. I will send you.
Okay.
Mm. And Bible also, so many activities are mentioned about Sankirtan. Where did I write down?
So when we are in association of devotees, na, okay, we get all the, na, we got convinced that these are things. But when we go outside, na, so many arguments and different. Even they will say there are many Gitas. They will say Ribu Gita, na, this
So,
Gita. Apart from that,
so all of these things, the two symptoms are there, taking the holy name around the world and the Bhagavatam, the essence of the whole scripture, translating it and distributing it around the world. These two things, Bhagavad Gita also similarly is the biggest distributed Bhagavad Gita around the
yeah.
world. So this it cannot be done unless there is potency. By Lord Himself is trying giving the potency. But without that, how it can be done? It is His name. It is His words. This is actually logical to think.
Mhm.
And at least he would be like topmost devotee of of all the acharyas. What to speak of being a pure devotee? All the acharyas were doing the same thing. What Srila Prabhupada is doing, same thing he's doing, but he's doing it in a much larger, bigger, wider global scale than any of these acharyas, great acharyas, whom he's following in the footsteps, but he's like doing it around the world. So, and the third thing is converting Malichas into Vaishnavas. Who has done it? That requires a lot of potency, no, to do. So acharyas are doing like few of them. Each acharya is very famous for converting this Malicha, this Yavana, like that. One, two, five. There is example like that they're given. But here is that's what he's doing. That's all he's doing. So these three symptoms you can take to anybody and show at least he is pure devotee. Even because these acharyas are pure devotee, you accept like Ramanacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbakacharya, all these acharyas, Vallabhacharya. These are all pure devotees, right? Your acharyas are, all these are great acharyas. They're pure devotees. And then much more, Srila Prabhupada will be at least pure devotee of their level. Right? So first, that has to be accepted that he's away from four defects. So that is the primemost thing to do is he's not under the four defects. Because once we do that, then all the scriptures, his written scriptures, becomes scripture then without four defects. Well, without that, the scriptures are not his writings are not right as scriptures. His commentary cannot be accepted as scripture by general people. You know, if his writing are accepted as scripture free from four defects, then whatever he says even about himself is also pure. No, he's not going to be on an ego platform or anything. No. He's just explaining what Krishna is saying.
And just like Srila Prabhupada, once he said na, that some contradiction, even he it seems like contradiction. Okay, why he will do like this? I forgot the real incidents that he has done like this. Then Srila Prabhupada, after some time, why he will do like this? He is a devotee. Some, it seems like contradiction, but no, like, and we cannot understand the things. So it's very high thing to that nectar of devotion. That last part it is mentioned, bhakti. But how to understand? Initially, na, devotees are there. They are seeing that, oh, it may be contradiction or something. Prabhupada, they bring him under under conditions. Na? He think that, just like Srila Prabhupada says many numbers in his lectures. He sometimes change the numbers when he speak. Definitely that is ecstasy, but
Tell me again before the first example, what did you say?
I forgot it. Something was there. Then Srila Prabhupada said, then once devotee again asked him, then he, why he will say like this? He is also a devotee. Like I forgot I will ask again. Ask I will. There was an incident like this.
What are you trying to convey? That because of this contradiction, he didn't understand. Like
Yeah,
he
you are telling me that first thing we have to say that Srila Prabhupada is above three modes.
yeah,
Then the authority of the his writings will be established.
not
But
above, just
even
above the three modes, pure devotee, free from four defects. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, he is free from four defect, but sometimes he, take okay, leave that example. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada use some number like number of fighters in Kurukshetra. So in another place he will change it. Hmm?
I
So
understand what you're saying. So see, all the material things, what one is, this is exactly the point um, what we have been going through. See that it is very difficult to understand how a pure devotee acts and works and speaks and his activities, and it's just like they're on the level of Krishna. So once it is established that he is pure devotee, then his activities are just like Krishna because he is coming from that planet. No? See, and he's a resident of that planet. I mean, without that, there is no going forward. Without establishing that he is a pure devotee, free from four defects, resident of the Vaikuntha Loka, and like that. Once that is established, then it becomes easy because Janma Karma Chame Divyam. One understands Krishna's Janma and Karma, one is liberated. It is so difficult to understand. It's not like, oh, he came this thing and now I'm liberated. It's not, it's so difficult. That's why it's given one gets liberated just by understanding. So when Srila Prabhupada is saying something or doing something which is appearing contradictory or is forgetting, that means it is not like how we do it. Otherwise, it would have been easy to be liberated, not just by understanding.
Yeah.
So I mean, pure devotee, how he acts, how does one know? It is not normally we उठना बैठना नहीं होता ना with these people, these pure devotees. How do we know? How does he walk? How does he eat? That's why Arjuna is asking Krishna this question. How does he eat? How does he walk? How does he talk? Because it's very
Just
difficult
like
to understand the internal features. So that way
yeah,
we can use scriptures.
yeah, like just like Bhagavad Gita is just like ABCD, na. So even Krishna is telling, don't tell na tapaskaya, don't tell in Bhagavad Gita last section. Krishna is saying na that na chatasman manusheshu. Before that, in don't tell it to the faithless who do not do any austerity. So it is like ABCD. Krishna is telling, don't tell them. But we are discussing like this thing, na, that Srila Prabhupada is above three modes and this thing. So it is how
No,
to
it's
just
about
like general.
not but pure devotee. They are two different things. No, above the three modes can be no, but nishtha also platform can be above the three modes. No? So see, the thing is that the pure devotee is so much more lovable and accessible to normal people than Krishna, because Krishna is acting like God, ruler. And so in our envy, we kind of don't like it many times. And pure devotees are like so lovable, and with small, small activities, one can fall in love. I remember one devotee, he was from Gaudiya Math background, child of a Gaudiya Math parents, Gaudiya Math devotee parents. And he became attached to me. And he was a little bit autistic also. So he wanted to follow me around and like this, like that. So I was living in Vrindavan. So he said, I also want to go to Vrindavan and live. And I could understand, it's very tough for him to live in Vrindavan. But he was just attached to me and everything. So he came to the temple. He joined as a brahmachari in the temple, in the ISKCON, Krishna Balram temple. I didn't have any other place to live with for him and to take care and everything. Because he was autistic, he was being really harassed by the brahmacharis, really harassed. And he was very depressed by the whole thing. And he didn't want to go home because he wanted to live with around me. And he had no idea of Prabhupada or anything, like just me or like that, just like that. So I didn't know what to do with him. I was like young, I just don't know what to do. Now, so we were sitting in Krishnaram temple. There is a place where reception is there or was there. I don't know what's happening now. Many years I have not gone. So the reception. So one devotee was there, Rajashekhar Prabhu. He used to play Srila Prabhupada's videos. At that time there was no YouTube or anything. So it was like a big event when he would play every Wednesday or someday he would play the videos of Srila Prabhupada. So people, devotees would crowd inside that small room. So I also there. He also came with me all depressed and everything. He didn't know what to do. Sitting there, Srila Prabhupada's Acharya series going on. And I remember Srila Prabhupada was asking about the check thing, that he's signing a check for Rameshwar sitting there. So Srila Prabhupada opened the the pen holder and he took out the pen, like his fingers, and he then properly put together and is very deliberately he's signing. And then this young boy, he was looking and then he just started crying, burst out crying. And he said, he's so nice. I want to serve him like that. He's like so harassed, devotee beating him. He didn't know what to do. And then he called his parents. He said, I want to serve Srila Prabhupada all my life. And like that. I mean, it's like from Gaudiya Math parents, no? Like this. So many people as I know, they become very attached to Srila Prabhupada without anything. Somehow Krishna just gives them this inspiration. I can tell so many things, so many instances. I know all devotees would also be able to do that. So it's not like the same where Krishna is saying, don't tell people about me, then they will offend. Of course, we have to take care that we don't push it like this on in the throat of people, but the loving manner, the intelligent manner, the interesting manner, and the knowledgeable manner Srila Prabhupada says things, we can share no, with people. And because that is a great tool to bring people out from their Maya, because they don't see a pure devotee or his activities. So by sharing in many different ways, I remember we used to go to a college here, UNC Chapel Hill, University of North Carolina Chapel Hill, and do programs. And in those programs, we used to do pre-prasadam distribution, and I like put a video player there. It was, I think 2003. Put a video player there so that people could watch while eating because people are used to watching TV while eating at home. So I thought, oh, that'll be nice. So I put it there. And I remember, like, they had no idea. These are all southern kids, more or less. They're all Jesus, this thing. They had no idea at all of Krishna consciousness, just coming for eating food, free food, vegetarian food. And then I started seeing gradually there were a few people who would finish eating and they would just sit there and watch hours, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, like 2 3 hour program used to be like prasadam distribution was there lunchtime, 11 to 2 I think. 3 hour they would just watch Srila Prabhupada. I would keep changing the video cassette, VHS cassette. No, we had this MP3 player then by the time. So they would just watch. Just became so attached to him. So it's not like one has to philosophically explain to people about Krishna consciousness and bring them to gradually and like that. This is also a great tool for a preaching tool for us to share Srila Prabhupada's person as a person. But if somebody is offensive, then we hold back. But we don't like not do that.
My cousin brother who he's living in Bangalore. So once he was telling me, okay, let's come, we will go for it's 10 years back. Let's go and play cricket. So I was told first we will see the video of Srila Prabhupada. So I just told him it's for 5 minutes. Then it's sort of 40 minutes video Srila Prabhupada. Some lecturer was there. So he was standing and he watched the whole video and he was so Srila Prabhupada has that thing that
What happened to cricket then?
yeah, after that we went and we played there.
Okay. Yeah.
So in preaching, na, just like we try to convince people or we give them. So first thing that I think that matters is in our own acharan. We should be if we are idle, na, then automatically half of the thing is done. That they are convinced that then, but thing is that last night a boy told me, you are become angry. Okay, you are not understanding. So this thing.
The thing, you're correct. I think problem is that we cannot be like him, so we need to distinguish immediately between him and us, so that we are his teachings are not like people don't doubt him and his teachings because of our behavior. We should be very like I try to like do that like because I have messed up so many devotional and progress because of trying to be like in the more in Srila Prabhupada's teachings, like oh, indistinguishable between his teachings and me, just in the whole flow. So after I learned that, man, this is horrible to be doing that. So we have to say, and also from other ISKCON devotees, how they are acting, to distinguish them, so people don't go into that mode. I tell directly his followers have messed up, and we are all like just trying to follow, but he is pure and his teachings are pure. We are not.
Generally, when we have to distinguish, when we have to stop, no? We see how he's not taking it little offensive. But I cannot that come backside. That is the problem. When somebody is unnecessary arguing, no? So I generally do not come back. Just like last night, it was like 2 p.m. 2 a.m. in the morning. So unless something was going on, some discussion. So things happen that. So how to understand? Yeah, okay, leave it.
I mean, we have to do our duty, no? Then, like, whatever is being
Mm.
told to us, we do. No? It's not like it is our fight like that. No? Servant,
But to
no?
three moods, no? You are telling that three moods, that one may be in the goodness, he will understand you, but some may be in the then passionate or like Kshatriya, he will not come back. So how to understand that?
There is nothing wrong like that because one will get purified. But I'm just saying why it is happening is because you are in the master mode, you're not servant mode. It boils
Yeah,
down to that.
main thing is that.
Do duty. But if one is in passion, we have passion. What's the there? We just dovetail it and we fight. Even at 2 a.m., we are doing it, no problem. Slowly we will get out of it. There's nothing wrong in it. As long as the content is, on the transcendental stage, transcendental status, the content at least, not mixing the philosophy with material. That is wrong. That is aparampara. But in the parampara, if one is dovetailing all that thing, our passion, everything, it's all right. That's how we all get purified. No, we hit here, there, find out gradually, gradually, gradually.
So once initially when I just came in Krishna consciousness, so I was using this all Facebook. So I joined atheist group. I will fight with them like that. So whole night I was doing, and I next 2 days I was in fever because they were arguing like anything. American, they are also outsiders, like anything it was. Yeah,
Reddit,
yeah.
Reddit, or where?
No, not at. It's like in 2011 or 12. I don't know, in Facebook or somewhere, WhatsApp. I don't know. So then I just understood the thing. Not
Well,
every time go and just.
all devotees, many devotees, especially from intelligent intellect, they go through the same phase what Lord Chaitanya showed to go through the argument phase, and then more imbibing phase, preaching phase, and then secluded phase. So we all go through this same thing, more or less, who are intellectually inclined. So he was giving the example, or I mean, of course, he was doing pastime, but also showing example for those kind of devotees, arguing in childhood and defeating, enjoying that. We can't think that we are doing it because of transcendental emotions. We are doing it because of passion, which we are
Yeah.
dovetailing. Lord Chaitanya,
Dovetailing, yeah.
yeah, and it purifies us. Many times, the when we are arguing, the it will make us think more deeper, 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 more and more from different angles we see. I mean, basically, many times, if we are able to go a little bit above passion and then we see the soul, no, whom we are arguing with, and then it becomes so painful to go forward with arguing because we know we are pushing them away after some time. So we have to do something else to bring them back to us. It's good for us, not good for them. So anyway, so that is. As a child, when I was going to the neighboring Malik temple, I was thinking then, when will I have such a nice deity to worship? And now Krishna is so kind that I am establishing so many nice temples all over the world. Now I want that there should be established 108 temples before my death. So you think how to do it? Make some program, train up devotees. Madhudvish, 10th November 1975. So children, so of course, this death is not what he's not death. Just to inspire. It's not like he's thinking so like this, like that, but is to inspire devotees using this death and all these things to inspire them to dedicate further and then their energies so that they can remain away from Maya and also develop transcendental emotions. So children, they generally imitate the parents' habits or activities. So fortunately, we had the opportunity of getting such a father. So we are imitating our father. In my childhood, I imitated my father. He was worshipping deity of Krishna. So I asked him, "My dear father, I shall worship. Give me the deity of Krishna." So he gave me a little deity of Krishna and Radha, and I was imitating. So beginning of life. So these are actually facts. Maharaj Parikshit also, he was playing with Krishna dolls, just like Mirabai. She was playing with Krishna doll and later on she became a very high grade devotee. So these chances are there. In September 16, 1966. Oh, this was in Second Avenue. Bhagavad Gita 640, 42. The same verses that we were reading today. So this is Bhagavatam 112:30. It is about Parikshit Maharaj's. Okay, we read that earlier. You want to read this, Prabhu?
Yeah. Yeah, bro. Shall I read? Okay. Srila, Srila Jeev Goswami remarks in this connection that every child, if given an impression of Lord from his very childhood, certainly becomes a great devotee of Lord like Maharaj Parikshit. One may not be as fortunate as Maharaj Parikshit to have the opportunity to see the Lord in the womb of his mother, but even if he is not so fortunate, he can be made so if the parents of the child desire him to be so. There is a practical example in my personal life in this connection. My father was a pure devotee of Lord, and when I was only 4 or 5 years old, my father gave me a couple of forms of Radha and Krishna. In a playful manner, I used to worship these deities along with my sister, and I used to imitate the performance of neighboring temple of Radha Govind. By constantly visiting the neighboring temple and copying the ceremonies in connection with my own deities of play, I developed a natural affinity for the Lord. My father used to my father used to observe all the ceremonies befitting my position. Later on, these activities were suspended due to my association in the school and colleges, and I become completely out of practice. But in my youthful days, when I met my spiritual master, Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, again I revived my old habit. And the same playful deities become my worshipable deities in proper regulation. This was followed up until I left the family connection, and I am pleased that my generous father gave the first impression, which was developed later into regulative devotional service by his divine grace. Maharaj Maharaj Prahlad also advised that such impressions of a godly relation must be impregnated from the beginning of childhood, otherwise one may miss the opportunity of the human form of life, which is very valuable, although it is temporary like others.
Mm.
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.12.
Explain.
Yeah, Prabhu, yeah, Srila Prabhupada is saying, na, just like from the childhood, he gave his personal example that Jeev Goswami is remarking that every child should be given opportunity. Then he can be like Parikshit, Maharaj Parikshit. Maybe he is not fortunate like he will see Krishna, but na, by this practice, he will become fortunate. And Prabhupada is giving his own example that his father, he gave him Radha Krishna, and then he was worshipping with his sister, and in the nearby place there is Radha Govind temple. So he constantly visit there like this. Then that na, what the exactly word used, developed a natural affinity for the Lord. And my father used to observe. His father used to observe all the ceremonies. And Srila Prabhupada like this. He learned all these things then, but after some when he was in young in college and school college, Shiluprat saying because of association he suspended all these activities. But after that, when he met again Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, then that again old habit revived, na? And the Krishna, then he was doing all this in proper regulation again. Like this Prahlad Maharaj, he also that he is also advising in Bhagavatam that na, Kaumaram Achrit Pragya, that from the childhood we should be given these things so that the impression will be in the mind, and the opportunity of human life will be properly utilized.
Mhm. And he's basically trying to give instructions to show example to the parents rather than of himself per se. That he is, of course, it's like in my youthful, like I later on these activities are suspended due to my association in the schools and colleges, and I became completely out of practice. But in my youthful days, meeting spiritual master again revived my old life. So of course, he will never forget Krishna even for a moment, even when he was doing this or not. But this is to show an example, you know, that we may also go through that. Our children may go through that. So don't worry, it will come back if the impression is there from childhood. The godly relation, such impressions of godly relation must be impregnated from the beginning of childhood. Otherwise, we may miss the opportunity. So from childhood up to some time, youthful age, everything, it will, they're doing other things, so much passion comes and everything, but they'll come back. And it should be enjoyable. What children are asking, children want to do, give them childhood time. Krishna, this thing, that thing. No, don't worry.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, like it is like Prabhupada here, like he's explaining all this that now we have to give that kind of practice to the kids. But I have a doubt, like we just give them that soft dolls as that Gaurnita, Radha Krishna, like that soft dolls. With the dolls itself, Tejas will be stamping on them, and he'll play like that. I always feel like it is very offensive. I'll tell Lata, no, take and keep them away. Maybe it is still not time for him, like that, I feel. And because we are in Mayapur, so they get chance to attend kirtan. So he'll also ask, okay, we'll go to temple, because that is the only place for him to enjoy. Temple kirtan is there, lot of people, so he'll get some prasadam, something like that. So, but if we are located in city, it is really very challenging, right? Nowadays, kids are very much attracted to smartphone, and they want to watch YouTube cartoons, be it Little Krishna, but still. So how they will feel like? I mean, I feel like that kind of a proper atmosphere is also required, right? Surrounding to them, like Prabhupada got the opportunity to be near the Radha Govind temple. His father also devotee. All these things. So when that kind of proper atmosphere is also not there, there is no inspiration also for them. Definitely, TV or smartphone is much more attracting them than these kind of activities, right?
Yeah, I'm not qualified to say on this, Prabhu. Uh, As far as the doll is concerned, or the deity, I mean, children will do what they do. That's why this Krishna doll is good. Mirabai, Srila Prabhupada says, was giving. They stamp on it and everything nicely, you can tell, no, without thinking it is offensive or anything. Just show them how to do it. Of course, they still will commit mistakes. Don't worry. That's how we do, but not take away. No. I mean, they're so young. How will they know? So fast, so much. Gradually, gradually, gradually. The main thing is to inspire their attachment to doing it, imitating you, basically. That's what Srila Prabhupada says, that I was imitating the parents, the elders. So that inspiration to do different activities, your own deities, I mean, just like children, they want to do play like kitchen making food. I remember my childhood, I was playing like this with kitchen and food, like mom is doing. So mom got me all these things like kitchen thing, and I was so happy about it. So that imitating the parent thing is the main thing. Then there's a natural
Mm.
affinity for the Lord, and then how to take care of the Lord is like parents are doing like this. I'll also do like that. But I don't know about all the other things that you're talking about that devotees with children have to explain to you. Like Neela Mataji. It's a big problem. Many devotees have told me the same issues. That's why I'm so much into trying to create alternative entertainment devotees community. Otherwise, they all get caught up. Yeah, it will be bound to be caught up by this TV and entertainment on the TV, serials, and so many things. Bound to be. It's very enticing. The eyes, ears. It's like very, very so many things happening. It's like nothing like anything happens in the world. It's very engaging to the mind and the senses.
So, when we are, I was there in that talk, that Hare Krishna village. So there were few students that very small, 10 years, 7 years. So one boy was there, Anirudh. So he was very nice. But once he came to Jaipur to his family, 4 5 days he was there. Then he went back. Then he was the Elder Prabhu. He noticed he was talking about different cars. This car, Audi, this and that. Then the Elder Prabhu told that na, that is a teacher there, Tush Govind Prabhu. Okay, Tush Govind Prabhu, what is? He just went outside for 3 days and he's telling Mercedes, Audi, and this car. He know every models. So it's a very difficult. No, we have to keep them outside this thing.
It's very tough, bro. Very, very tough. Where will you keep outside? How will you keep outside? You need to travel, no? And that most planes now have these entertainment systems. And the children will automatically look there and say, oh, close your eyes, shut like this. Very, very tough. It's impossible actually. So that's why I feel more and more we have to not only create a alternative, but also engage them unless we go away very far away from the society, rural community, which is very tough to do with so many issues I've been pointing out. But or we like really engage them in preaching activities from childhood. Like they are not directly preaching, but they've become engaged in the whole preaching atmosphere. Just sitting there, eating, sleeping, going to temple will not do, even for children. Preaching activity because of like we are explaining to parents, other people, and they are engaged, very excited whole day long. Do this, do that. Wife also engaged in preaching, hosting people, making something. It's like becomes like a whole event every day. Like that.
All
Then
all this is with that param drashya. Na? If we get better, higher taste, then automatically practicing by this.
and purification comes more, and yeah, of course. So I don't see how else we can do it till we have a separate community.
The
Very
So
separate.
what about you? Just like we have heard this many things. World War will be there, everything will be finished, and then again things will start. Every technology will finish.
that we will discuss in the other one. I can bring up the point there. So let's keep on the point of children not out trained. Yeah. Just Rancho Prabhu, you were saying something?
Yeah, I mean, I was saying that Prabhu, having a proper community and with a proper engagement to the kids also, if they have a proper engagement, kind of a schedule for them, they get that vision. Like, like let's say going to Mangalarti also, when, in the initial from the day one they are coming to Mangalarti, they get habituated. They see Kartal Mridanga, so they get taste for that. So proper, I mean, like in this way, going for book distribution, maybe doing some skates play. They have their own Krishna conscious type of school environment. All these things they automatically they get developed for taste for this. That's what I feel. And once they grow up, even after 10 years or 15 years also, at that time, even if they see this high tech games like Nintendo Wii or whatever, by that time they got the knowledge, so they feel like, this is not for me. They definitely feel it. That's what my strong opinion.
Mhm. That's very important, Prabhu, what you are saying. Very good.
Because my nephew is there in Canada, so he comes to India. I have seen him 2 3 times. So he's after when he was in India, he was like normal, but when he went to Canada, so he has turned up like, all time into gaming. He's a small boy actually. So he knows how to play these online streaming games. They stream to Twitch or YouTube, and he plays all the games. everything. And he's 24/7, like he goes to the school and then comes back. Okay, you want me to finish my work? Okay, I'll finish my homework. Okay, done. Now I am going, I have done my school, I have done my, no, you don't disturb me. I'll go. And he'll sit whole till night. He'll be keep on playing games with his friends, online friends.
Wow. How old is he?
I think he is I think 10th class, I think, Prabhu. Somewhere. School. He's school, maybe 8th class, 8th class.
Oh.
So that's what I feel like, now if you can see this Nirmaya, so she's a elder girl. I don't want to speak about Prahlad. Prahlad is still young boy. We, I can just still say that, he's a young boy. He still don't know what is the real big game. Okay, Nirmaya and there's another girl also who is younger. She is now in the Edison devotees. They are all still now they are doing, they are playing kartal, mridanga, harmonium. They have developed the taste. They have their own Instagram page for kirtans, like that. So that's what I feel like from childhood. Once they're grown up in that environment, once they even they grow up, and the elders, so even they see these kind of games, I feel like they will lose the taste, because they have already acquired the knowledge and everything. They know that this is tucham.
That may be Maya, but Maya is very strong, stronger than
Definitely. But duty, our duty will do it. That's it.
we're saying is our duty is what we do, and then Krishna let uh,
Yeah.
their soul are
Few
independent.
things are not in our hands. What can we? Because see, Prabhu, because another thing I don't want. Okay, let me bring up. Okay, this Vibhishan Prabhu, right? So Prabhu's opinion is like, he feel like, I don't want to push him to Krishna conscious forcefully. So because like no one has pushed Casey on us, but we chose Casey by ourselves. So I don't want to push that on my child. That's what he tells. So he will send him to the school, everything like that. But he will not push him like, I want to bring him to Mangalarti. Maybe like I want to push him like that kind of. So I don't know how far his way of thinking it is correct or wrong. Because see, we are pushing to children like, go to school materially. So what is wrong in pushing children to KC? Because outside world is like that. But definitely too much of pressure is also not good on pushing them to KC. That is definitely we have to check whether he shouldn't reject it. That is also important.
Very good, Prabhu. All these are very good points. That's good. Very nice examples of Srila Prabhupada by which he's giving all this inspiration to the parents in their service. Mhm.
Prabhu, just like na, you're saying that small boy, we are forcing him to go to school. So similarly, if na that we can at least force, because there is that guru parents and government na, they we can little bit force also. And the main thing was that na similar, just like Prabhupada's father was, he was doing these things. So Srila Prabhupada was imitating. Similarly, if we have that culture at least na, so definitely that children will automatically say we will also do.
Okay, Prabhu. Shall we finish here? Thank you very much for a good discussion. Rancho Prabhu, Pradyumna Prabhu, and all the other devotees. Hare Krishna. One
Thank you very
second.
much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Prabhupada.
Panchakalpatarvya Kripa Sindhubhya Patita